and welcome to Chasing Gold, the 2025 Black Canyon edition. I am Schuyler Hall, bringing you along to meet many of the featured athletes you're going to see on course February 8th for the Black Canyon 100K. Joining us today is no stranger to pretty much anybody in the ultra running scene right now. Tara Dower, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, no complaints on my end, but I'm also not training for 100K right now. So I don't think you'd listen if I had any complaints. First question that we're asking all of our guests, and this might be a little on the nose for you, but it's contract season, as many folks are aware. And so I want you to put your imagination cap on, and you find yourself in an elevator with the head of your dream brand. All right. What is, or for you potentially, what was your 30-second elevator pitch on why we should bet on you for 2025 and beyond?
Oh my goodness, what a question. Oh wow. I mean, if I was in the elevator with somebody, I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to get to know them and maybe be a part of their brand." I'd probably ask questions about them and maybe then dive into my I don't really love talking about myself. It's not natural. It doesn't come out natural. It's very fumbly. Um so I'd probably focus on the person I was talking to. But if this is just for interview sake, I would probably say I am really excited to race quickly. I have a lot of drive this season, especially or 2025, especially because I did go so slow in the Appalachian Trail August and September, and it was very sustained effort. And, that's what it took. It took, doing 15, 20-minute miles all day long. And, I was dreaming during these long miles I really just want to run fast again. And so that's been a huge focus through the winter, just training really quickly. And I just love getting that speed back in my legs. So I think it's just that natural drive for me. That's why people should bet on me for 2025.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, we have to address the elephant in the room, right? You did set the Appalachian Trail outright FKT,
Mhm.
wrapped up on September 21st, 40 days of just straight up grinding. Why is Black Canyon the place to come back to and run fast? Like you just did this huge effort, which was preceded by Hard Rock, a very burly race in which you took fourth place. And
Mhm.
now you just want to come rip it in the desert? What about Black Canyon is speaking to you and calling your name?
I think Black Canyon's a special race. It draws such a competitive field, and that's really exciting for me. I just want to see where I sit in the field and see where I sit in the ranks of suffering because Black Canyon is a hard race, and I just fully expect to go comatose after Gloriana Mine, and that's really exciting to get to that point. So I think it's the competitive field and how difficult the race is. I think that's why I keep going back at least.
Right. You've been here the previous two editions. You have a 12th place finish here in 9:56. You have a 7th place finish here last year in 9:19. So at least your trajectory is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And you know this course well. So sort of thinking through your prior experiences here, are there any key takeaways or lessons that you learned on the course that you're already thinking about implementing for this 2025 edition?
Yeah, I think just expecting there to be that natural fade after, halfway through at Deep Canyon, just, expecting that you are going to fade. It's a tough race. It gets hotter. You're going down in elevation, but then after the halfway mark, you are climbing more. So you're no longer just descending. So just expecting and being comfortable with that natural fade in the body and the legs and the mind and leaning into that. I think just expecting that and just trying to fuel your brain, your body as best you can, or as best as I can in those miles is the best thing that I can do.
I want to dig into a few things there. So let's talk about the nutrition part. You're talking about fueling the body and fueling the mind. Obviously, you are well versed in nutrition and getting through long races, and you've obviously ripped some fast ones where you've had to take in nutrition as well. what is your nutrition strategy nowadays, especially with the high carb fat and a lot of what we're hearing about? What works best for you, and what are you looking to make happen at Black Canyon?
Yeah, I've always struggled with my nutrition. So, especially with, now that I'm a professional athlete, Ultra has, believed in me. They do believe in me and they have put the money behind, they put investment in my career. I have really leaned into being a complete, full professional athlete, and that involves hiring a professional like Vic Johnson, who's a nutritionist. He's a nutritionist for some of the best ultra runners. And so I hired him and we just talk every week, and we just get into the weeds about all these like things I didn't realize. So the nutrition strategy that we've come up with is, doing a lot of like liquid calories in the beginning, and then kind of going into more gels in the later miles, but focusing on like 75 grams of carbs. That's my sweet spot. I don't respond well to like super high carbs, but we find that like somewhere in that 75, 80 grams is like my sweet spot.
Yeah, how much of that is lessons learned through racing versus things you might have learned in your long trail efforts, or has this really just been a completely new box that you've explored now that Vic is on board?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, it's definitely been something I've learned through racing, doing these like long trail FKTs, like the Appalachian Trail, the Benton MacKaye Trail, Colorado Trail, Mountains of Sea Trail. Those have all been, those are way different on a different level than racing is. So racing, you just want to focus on getting those quick carbs, and that involves like the gels and the liquid calories. But on those long trail efforts, that doesn't sustain you in the same way. So really looking to get fats, proteins, like a complete nutrition, eating more solid foods because you're able to digest that better. So I've really learned, that 75 to 80 grams of carbs with gels and with liquid calories. That's what I've learned through racing and also with the help of Vic. And after finishing the Appalachian Trail, we've done a lot of experiments on these long runs and on these speed work. And that's kind of what we've deciphered from those runs.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that transition from the Appalachian Trail uh, to essentially a fast training block, right? You just did that Mel Williams 50K that you won in 3 hours and 45 minutes. So clearly your legs are back under you in some way,
Mhm.
shape, or form. But what has that training block looked like since September?
Yeah, I just really focused on doing whatever after way back when I finished, like right after. I focused on doing whatever my body wanted because I ignored the signals on the Appalachian Trail where my body was hungry, where my body was like not doing super well. I had to ignore those emergency signals for such a long time. So when I finished the Appalachian Trail, I really just listened to my body, eat whatever I want, rest as long as I want. I didn't jump back into running. So I think that, that really accelerated my recovery. And I, as soon as I was like back to shape, I just started running really fast because I had that natural drive to run fast. And my coach, Megan Roach, she understands that about me. And so she and I just like whatever made me happy and at that moment was running fast. And we just did that. And the Mel Williams race, that went so well, and that was just so exciting to go fast, and I'm looking forward to, going even faster, hopefully, at Black Canyon.
Yeah, thinking about that 50K specifically, I mean, 3 hours and 45 minutes is nothing to scoff at, regardless of the terrain.
Mhm.
Do do you think that race? Well, let me put it this way: were you surprised by how fast you ran, or do you think, hey, actually, I still left something on the table and I should have been able to run faster there? Where did Mel Williams fit into your expectations at the time, and then scaling it forward to Black Canyon? Do you think you can uh, basically just keep that ball rolling?
Yeah. To answer your last question there, I do think I can keep the ball rolling because when I did do that Mel Williams race, I put everything together. My, coaching from Megan, coaching from Vic for nutrition, and my body was just feeling so good, so fast. My legs felt so responsive. And I was just excited to leave it all out there. And I really did feel like, with the nutrition help, with my training, I was able to like put together a really good day. I don't think I could have gone any faster. Maybe I could. I don't know. But I felt really happy with that race. especially because nutrition works so well. And I think going into Black Canyon, to again answer that last question, I think with that nutrition help, with that focus on making sure my body, my mind is fueled, I'm just going to be able to run so much faster. I know I can suffer. I know I'm going to suffer. There's that expectation, but I know I can suffer. But also, just like having that nutrition behind me, it maybe won't be as hard as it has been in previous years.
For sure, for sure. You brought up something earlier that I kind of want to circle back to around that sort of that fade that naturally occurs in the back half of a race. Black Canyon, obviously, we've and you're familiar with this. We know that it gets a little bit more gnarly in the second half. More of the
Yeah.
climbs in the second half of the race.
So awesome.
It, hey, for somebody who likes to suffer, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Where do you think the nutrition will help you maybe fade less? And I guess what we're hearing from sort of other podcasts and folks in the ether is that the race starts from the gun. There's no like sitting in the pack for 50K and then trying to
Mhm.
race. Do you think that the kick down strategy is something that you can employ, or are you going to have to change your tactics a little bit if you want to be at the pointy end of this race?
Yeah, I think definitely the tactic I feel most comfortable in a race is like coming from behind and, being able to suffer and just leaning into that more and going even faster when it hurts, when my brain is like mush. I think I do the best with that strategy, but me and Megan have been talking and she's like, you really have to go out there and, put it all out there. That's this race. Black Canyon is one of the most competitive races in the country, in the world. So you're racing against some of the best. You really need to go out there and want that win and want, somewhere in the podium. If you want that, you have to go for it. And so doing that is a little uncomfortable. But also like, I like suffering, and that's just like another way of suffering is like from the gun, just giving it all you got.
I've heard friends and colleagues of yours allude to you as pretty much the ultimate gamer. Like you love just being in the heart of competition. If you're balancing your race strategy going in with like 8 or 10 competitors going off the front of this race, are you going to feel the innate gamer tendency to take over? You're like, I have to go with that pack. Or do you think that you can hold yourself steady and be like, this is my race plan. This is what me and Megan talked about. I'm going to stick to it. Where does your heart lie and where does your mind lie in your tactics?
Definitely for Black Canyon, I'm gonna be trying to go out with those lead people, whoever it might be. Um, yeah, I think that's just what you have to do for Black Canyon. I like to come from behind, but I think, this race does not. I think some people can do well in that way, but, for this race, I think I'm really gonna have to go out with that lead pack.
So I want to think about this mindset a little bit. You're coming from the Appalachian Trail, a lot of solo time to yourself to
Mhm.
think and to just be alone with your thoughts. How how does your mindset from an FKT or a long trail transition over to this type of race environment? Like, is it your ability to focus that makes you as elite as you are? Is it your ability to just like completely shut off and block out what's happening in your body? Like, why do you think you can be strong mentally on both these long trail efforts and a speedy race like Black Canyon?
Yeah, you have such great questions. Um, that's a great question. I think I think I naturally enjoy time on trail, whatever it is. If it's a really fast race, like I am always so amazed when I go to the Black Canyon 100K or just the area, that Arizona area. I'm just so amazed. It's so beautiful. And whenever you come up and over, that first little hill, like it's mostly downhill in the first half, but there is a little uphill in the very beginning. And then you see to your right, you just see these mountains and it's just so gorgeous and the sun's coming up. It's it's incredible. And on the Appalachian Trail, I did have a lot of alone time in the mountains and it's just different. And I think it's just that natural love for being on the trails, being surrounded by mountains, being surrounded by people who also enjoy the same things. I think it's exciting. And I actually don't remember where I was going with that, but yeah, there's just like that innate joy that comes from being on the trails.
So, a lot of folks are learning about the sport and coming into the sport as a result of the work that you've done. And you were hitting mainstream media outlets
Mhm.
that ultra runners don't typically get written up in and get eyeballs on. With new fans coming in, what would be your, I guess, goal for them in 2025 to get involved with the community? Is it just get some time on the trail and experience your love? Is it to like become part of a group run
Mhm.
or some sort of group endeavor? Like what at the end of 2025, what would you like your impact on these newfound fans of ultra running that you brought into the sport to be?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to that last point is get on the trails. If you do have that enjoyment for ultras, for the sport, I think a lot of it is just being comfortable on trails, especially by yourself, because oftentimes in longer races, even the 100K, even Black Canyon in the last half, sometimes you're really just on your own and just being comfortable with being alone on the trails and finding joy in being surrounded by mountains or really wherever you are on the trail. It could be like a flat trail, like where I did Mel Williams, and just enjoying the experience. And so once you finally do get to a race, you're just like, surrounded by joy because it's amazing. So whatever happens, like if you do go comatose or if nutrition isn't working out or if it's raining, like you're still going to find some joy in the trail. And I think my biggest thing during these races is finishing and finding that joy. So I think, in my opinion, if people are able to like do that from the get-go when they're starting, it's just going to make it so much more of more enjoyable experience, which is at the end of the day all that matters.
Absolutely. And I mean, one of the most iconic photos from a race is one that you didn't finish, but you still seem to find some joy with a certain cactus sort of plugged into you. So, I think that there are still some takeaways that folks at home, you can Google it, and take that to heart. All right, so we're gonna finish up with the quick mix, 5 fast hitting questions, top the dome, answer as your heart feels. You can't go wrong. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, question number one. Obviously, we know that you got the ultra contract in your back pocket. What's going to be your shoe of choice for Black Canyon?
The Mont Blanc with laces, not the boa.
Respect. Okay. Question number two. Because we clearly need more hype in trail running. What is your walkout song to the start line?
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Kendrick Lamar, and I know this isn't his song, but he is in it. But I really enjoy Collard Greens so far. I mean, I've just been listening to so much Kendrick Lamar, and that song gets me pretty hype.
I, as a California kid, wholly support that. Number three, you have an unlimited budget for a month-long training camp. Where are you going and why?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just right off the dome, like the San Juans. I know I'm right here in Durango at the San Juans, but I moved here for a reason. But I would do like a hut to hut traverse in the San Juans.
Nice. Love that. Question number four. All right. We're turning Black Canyon into a two-person relay. Think, three-legged race style. Which of your competitors are you going to tie yourself to?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Um, Probably, I'm gonna do 2 for 2 different reasons, but Mary Denholm just because she's, like, so fast and so, like, focused, and I think she also suffers really well, and I love watching her race, but also, Lauren Purtez, because she's so funny, and we'd probably just laugh the entire time and just have, like, a really positive experience.
Love that. Love it's a vibe. I wholly support that as well. And then last question. Obviously, the race is going to be live streamed here on the Mountain Outpost channel. So remember, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. You'll get notified when it goes up for that live stream. But for the supporters watching at home, what emoji do you want them to just spam into the live chat to show you love on race day?
Oh, wow. I like the emoji with the person that just goes like this. Yeah, yeah. Meh. I guess you can't see me, but it's the one where the person's, like, shrugging and their
Oh,
arms are just, like, up.
So behind the scenes, I can't actually see Tara, but
Oh,
as soon as you said that, I knew exactly. Like I knew it before you even had to describe it. So on board. So everyone at home, you know what to do on February 8th. Make sure you're in the live chat, just spamming the shrug. Uh, awesome. We loved having you, Tara. Any last words you want to leave for the viewers at home?
no, just hey, what's up?
Oh, we will be asking that question for a solid 8 hours on February 8th. So, all of you at home, make sure you tune in to the 2025 Black Canyon live stream here on the Mountain Outpost channel. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Chasing Gold. I've been Schuyler Hall. Until next time, catch you guys later.